I'm Lee Spencer with the Racing Boys, and I am talking to Alba Cologne. And I have to laugh because every time I hear that advertisement on the radio for astronaut Abby, I think about you being a young woman in Puerto Rico and wanting to be the first Puerto Rican astronaut. It's like, why were you so enamored with space, and what turned your career around?
First of all, thank you for having me here today. I appreciate that. I think that I inherited the love for space from my dad. He always was very fascinated with that and taking me to see the stars and, everything that has to do with astronomy. So that was where everything started, with the math and science and everything. So, yeah, that's what I was going to be. Instead of astronaut Abby, is astronaut Alba. But in college, a professor invited me to do a project related with race cars, and I fell in love. It's something that I didn't know that I would like so much. I fell in love, and many years later, here I am working with NASCAR cars.
But you left the corporate side after how many years at General Motors to come over to the team side? What has that transition been like for you?
Yeah, it was, after 23 years, the opportunity, an amazing opportunity. Opportunities have come along, but this opportunity to be able to work for Hendrick Motorsports, and especially for Mr. H, it was extremely tempting, and I took the leap of faith. We talk about leap of faith. And I tell that to younger people, hey, don't close your door. So I took that advice myself. And my goodness, it has been very different, but very, very rewarding, extremely rewarding. Needed to change not only my job, but the place where I live, everything that I know, come to a new place and going through the experience of growing in a new place, getting used to, but it has been great. It has been great what we have done so far, and we have a lot of more things to do.
But you're closer to home now, too. It used to be, we can all get on an airplane and get places quickly, but, Detroit to Puerto Rico, compared to Charlotte to Puerto Rico, it's a little more friendly flight.
Absolutely. I took that flight a couple of weeks ago, and it was way shorter time. Way shorter time. Yes. So you are right about that. Yeah, there's some advantages. And Charlotte is very centric. I didn't realize that until I started to make several trips, and I'm like, this is more centric than I was expecting. Yes.
Well, we're glad that worked out. And how's your family back in Puerto Rico after the hurricane? I know that the country's still devastated, but I take it your family's faring well.
Absolutely, and thank you for asking. So after the storm, I have been there twice. Once was 2 months after the storm, and it was really heartbreaking to see how things were. I just visited them also again a couple of weeks ago, and they are doing much, much better. They're still part of the country that need a lot of support. But it was night and day, to go back and to finally see the trees are growing, everything is turning out to be greener, and people are starting to live their normal lives. There are some things that will never be normal again. But the beauty is everybody's helping each other. Everybody's helping, and help is still going there, because we need to help them. Their lives change completely, very drastically. So I'm very happy to see that they are doing great, and I'm looking forward to seeing them again in Christmas time.
Speaking of doing better, Hendrick Motorsports has seemed to find some speed of late, and that has to be rewarding because can you give our listeners a little bit of a description as to what your job entails at Hendrick Motorsports and just what the transition for you personally has been like, and also the transition to the Camaro this year? A lot of people looked at Kyle Larson and said, well, if Ganassi Racing can figure this out with, half the resources of Hendrick, shouldn't Hendrick be on fire? And it's not that easy.
No, absolutely. It's not that easy, and I have been living that every single day. When I came to Hendrick Motorsports, I came as a director of the competition, director of the competition systems group. Okay, I call it the CSG group. Yes, so and it was a new group that it was put together. Our group, works with research and development, works with the testing labs, simulations, simulator, data analytics. All these groups, tires, all these groups were put together. All these people were put together under one group to work. And the new group, there has been some construction at Hendrick Motorsports where we finally took the crew chiefs were divided the teams with 2 in one building and 2 in another building. So everybody's now under one roof. Everybody's together. We are all together. So you have a new car, new people, new department, new philosophy. Everything happened at the same time for Hendrick Motorsports. A big change, but very happy to see that they took that leap of faith, and they said, no, this is what we have to do to get better and to go back to, to all those wins all the time. At first, it was difficult, everybody learning how to work better together, but at the end, everybody adopted the philosophy, and we continue adopting the philosophy, and we know that we have to do more and more. A new car is never easy. Never easy to figure out. And but from when we started in Daytona to now here in Kansas, we have done a lot of progress, but there is still a lot of progress to do. In comparisons, compared with the other 2 manufacturers, there's still some work to do, and every department is very committed to finish the year very strong. And of course, we're already starting to work on 2019. So it's going to take the right people, the right mindset. As you can notice also, we are making changes already for the next year, but everybody is committed. Everybody understands we need to make whatever it takes to go back to to those days and to go back to what we are really. We are the best team in the sport, and we had the credentials to prove it to everybody. So, it's just been amazing to be able to help, to help in those areas, to help the team to get better.
Having run the entire NASCAR Cup program for Chevrolet, you had a really good overview going in as to what the resources were at Hendrick Motorsports. Has anything surprised you being on the inside now as opposed to on the outside looking in?
Yeah, there have been some things that I cannot really quite talk about it. No, it have been some things, but I will tell you one thing that I really would like that you understand better. It's different to be in the inside. You can influence the product more directly, directly. And I wish, and I don't say this in a bad way, I wish I would have done a job like this first before I did the Chevrolet job. That doesn't take what I did, but, for me, learning some of the stuff and, how, what exactly are the needs of the teams and everything, has helped to go back to, to Chevrolet and say, hey, think about this, this other way to do business and so on, So it's just very interesting, how the perspective. At the same time, it has helped me to do, being in Chevrolet has helped me to do my job better. Because maybe some of the things the guys don't understand, but why do they do this? And I can go back and say, these are the rationale behind, and these are the tools, that maybe you didn't know, or, or how we can tweak, So it's interesting to know the sport now from the both sides, and how each one can help other, But, yeah, very, very interesting, and more to learn on that side, too.
I'm not used to seeing you at the racetrack as much this year in your new role. So what brings you to the track this weekend? Or are you kind of, giving your help so somebody else, at your job level can have a weekend off? Have you just been so busy trying to figure out, getting back up to speed before you felt the luxury of being able to come to the racetrack? Why are you here this weekend?
I think that you just mentioned everything there. No, but the reality is the following. It has been hard to travel every weekend because that's what I was used to before. But when I took this job, I was very, very committed that I will do whatever it takes to put the department in the right place, and to do the right thing for the team. And I decided to stay back and work with the team. Pretty much, we work 7 days a week to make sure that we can provide to the crew guys here what they need. So that has been one of the things. Second, I had some meetings set up this weekend that I wanted to take care of. Also, the roster has limit, the number of people that we can bring to the track, but also, you need to come back to the track, to see what is going on, to better understand what the teams are telling you that they are going through. When we talk during the week, you have to come back and check it out. In that way, you can go back, and work, to make them better and to help them better. So it's a combination. I knew my role was going to change. Things were going to be a little bit different. But again, with everything, change is welcome. Some things are great, some things are not, I wish I was traveling more, but being at home has helped me to help the teams better. So we do whatever we need to do to make this much better for them.
Back in 1971, my father was an engineer, and I loved math, and I loved science. And I finished the math book in April, long before any of the boys did. And my teacher told me, concentrate on English and history. Things have changed dramatically. And I'm not going to bring up the woman issue because both you and I have been here quite some time and, really don't see a lot of difference between the two. But, these days with STEM programs and everything else that are afforded to women, and you being such an inspiration to all of us here in the garage, what advice would you give to a young woman who really enjoys, racing, who really sees, the challenge that comes in racing and just wanting to be faster, wanting to be better, wanting, love the competition and wanting to beat other people? What would you tell her as far as looking at a job path that might bring her someday to being an engineer in NASCAR?
No, absolutely. One thing that I learned that I needed to be very strong mentally, very, very strong. There were some people help you, some people didn't help you, but mentally strong to know where I want to go. So I will tell you, you can have your doubts, but you'd have to be mentally strong. And I really, that attitude of never give up, I just, I knew what I wanted to do. It's still my dream change. There's nothing wrong with that. But, being in the right place, the right time, the networking, all of that helps. It's not only one advice, it's different advices to make this thing happen. One thing that I didn't have, my parents supported me to my whole career. But we didn't have this whole STEM programs and that you can come and everything that we all have today, with the STEM programs. And I will tell you, take advantage of that. Every school is involved in that. There are many societies, even NASCAR help you with that. You have to be involved and get out there and make it happen. This didn't come to me by sitting in the sideline, right? I made it happen. So that's why I will recommend that. Mentally strong, never give up, networking, and look for the opportunities. And there's people that will be there to help you.
People would be surprised how many female engineers there are at Hendrick Motorsports, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. We have the director of Aero and VEG is a woman. We have a new designer that is a woman also. We have women in another key places, as a director of marketing, in HR, in finances, the controller. We have more women that people ever think. Our greatest tire specialist, Lisa, a woman, and I love to see all the boys coming to her and asking her all the questions, I'm like, that's my girl.
She's been here a long time, too.
Absolutely. One of the things, Lisa works for me now. So that has been really cool to see her, growing and everything and how we can talk and support each other. So that has been really fantastic for me.
I really appreciate your time today, Alba.
My pleasure. Anytime.